So is the opportunity to request a quote and have it supplied to them there and then, is that a differentiator between you and the competition?
No, I would say that with regards to competition, there's a few other brands who are trying to achieve what we are, and they're just internet-based merchandise businesses. We're currently in a hybrid. We're not a strictly internet-based merchandise business. However, we want to try and get there whilst also coupling it with account management strategies. The reason why we've got the sales team and the sales guys is they focus on account management and building the existing customer base into just more and more spend.
You know, the rationale behind bulk branded being a hybrid is that when we come to exit, an e-commerce site that has proven revenue and an e-commerce site that's generating sale, what we believe is a better sell than a business that's purely outreach, account management based.
Hello, I'm Kieran O'Connor, and this is episode 3 of the Calculated Risks podcast. Today, I'm joined by Kristian Harris and Keenan Garvey. They have built and scaled successful businesses here in South Wales as co-founders of bulk branded Brolly and Terra Manufacturing. Today, we're going to learn all about their journey from 0 to multiple 7 figures. Keenan, Kristian, thanks for joining me.
Pleasure,
Thank
mate.
you very much.
Thanks for having us.
That's okay, no problem. I thought I'd start off with a gift. Here's a copy of my book.
Thank you very much.
I know you've bought a few on.
Congratulations on the
thank
success
you.
of
Bought a few
this.
on Amazon, so thank you very much for supporting the cause.
Honestly.
I like to get straight into it. So the podcast is called Calculated Risks. So this is a question for both of you. It's a 2-part question. I want to understand and hear from your side of things. When was that first big risk that you took in your entrepreneurship journey, and how did it feel? And the second part to that question is, how has that changed over the years, and what's your tolerance or relationship to the word risk now?
Very good questions.
I'll let you go first, Ian.
I would have said the biggest risk initially was the course that we learned all the knowledge about SEO and web design from. You know, that was quite a heavy investment to make at the age of 19, 20, you know. And then to do that, it was a high 5-figure sum that we had to invest to learn all of the information that we got now. Chris brought me onto that, which was amazing. And, you know, I probably wouldn't be here without Chris if we actually hadn't have done that, you know. So that would have been the hardest thing. But to do that and pull the trigger on that was, a challenge, but the worthwhile risk I could have ever taken, to be honest.
How did it feel at that time investing such a high amount of money?
Yeah, it was just risky because I didn't have income, you know, coming in to supplement what we were investing, but we just knew the idea would have worked. We trusted ourselves, and even though it was a risk, it was, as you said, a very calculated risk because we knew the knowledge we'd get from it would take us even further.
So it seems to have paid off. So how many years ago was that?
Nearly 10 years ago now.
Nearly 10 years ago now.
End of 2015.
Yeah,
Wow, a long time ago. So
Yeah.
the second part of that question was, what's your relationship like with risk and risk taking now? And how's that changed over the 10 years and
A
developed?
hell of a lot better, I would say. I'm actually really up for taking risk as much as possible. Obviously, it's got to be the right risk, but I'm not adverse to it anymore at all, whether that's hiring staff, investing in certain systems or processes or CRMs or whatever it may be. We're happy to invest because we understand speculate to accumulate is really important.
So you definitely think that's developed over the years and you've got more risk.
Yes.
Risk-taking
Got more
ability.
risk appetite. Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Kristian? When was the first big risk you took and how did you feel?
Yeah, I'd probably say that it was the same experience. I set up a business, a small, I'd say, project when I was in university. So I set up a private tuition agency. That was a good experience, but I think, I'd align with what Keenan said. That was probably the big risk that we took, was investing in a course that was an American course that was very, marketing led. We didn't have experience in the internet marketing industry. I had ranked my own tutoring websites to page one of Google. That was the only experience I had in SEO. I left university September 2015. And I think it was just natural
progression.
Yeah, because you had come back from traveling.
Yeah.
And we were talking about marketing. I was showing you what I was doing on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I was doing like
Pay per
calls.
calls.
So every time someone called a phone number, I'd get $7. And we were running traffic via Facebook. And I think SEO was just the natural progression. I think I remember sending Keenan a voice note, actually. I'd just been on a date with a girl and I was in a bit of a panic mode because I didn't know what I was doing. And I knew I shouldn't have been on the date. I should have been focusing more on the business. And I remember sending you a voice note going, I think I just have to go all in on this. Yeah. It was like lead generation, wasn't it?
Yeah, you were like, look, I've got to go all in on this course.
Yeah.
I think it's the right thing for us to do. If you want to do it, it's going to be this much, I appreciate if you don't have the funds to do that now, but I know this is the right thing. I think I found a great community of people and knowledge as well. So just had to both involve ourselves.
So that's really interesting. So before you answer the second part of that question, you've both said the course. So from my experience, there's loads of courses out there these days. Anyway, maybe 10 years ago there was a smaller amount, right? But how did you both? I think you come up with a suggestion of this course, by the sounds of it. But how do you know this course was the one?
You just get a feel, and I think that entrepreneurship is very much like that. It's more instinctive based.
Yeah. You'd seen a lot of case studies as well, which helped.
Did a lot of research.
Yeah.
So actually, you're jogging my memory a lot because this is nearly 10 years ago. I joined what was like a pre into the group. So you joined like a free Facebook group where you saw successes of other people. And I think that I had already been in a previous, very much a smaller one, but with the pay-per-call marketing, we were in like a sort of small group ourselves where we would discuss what campaigns we're going to, attack next. So looking at this bigger group for lead generation via local SEO, I was in like the pre-group and I had seen the successes, and I was there for about 6 months, just watching the group, seeing what was going on, looking at the successes of that community. And it was just playing on my mind a lot. And I think that the paper call has sort of died down a bit, wasn't it? And
it was starting to come to the end of its life. So
because the campaigns don't last forever. So they come to the end of their lives. And I think I was, like I said, going back to what I said, in a bit of a panic, I'll be honest, because I'd left uni in September and it was a case of, do I continue doing this entrepreneurship thing or do I go and get a job? And the SEO was kind of like, it would give us more structure. Yeah. And that's what I saw the opportunity is, let's actually set up an SEO agency. So for anyone that doesn't know, that's search engine optimization. That's getting websites to page on Google for the keywords that are relevant to their business. And I saw that as the not next big thing, but the next opportunity in the digital marketing space. And that's why we went and joined that group. Yeah. And I'm a big believer in joining the community. Whatever new business I'm, going to look at, probably apart from promotional merchandise though, I'll join a community, join an accelerator, kind of like not cheat your way, but get the first, miss the first 2 steps of the ladder.
Yeah, we're learning from other people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second part of that question, what's your relationship like with risk taking now? Have you followed the same journey as Keenan? Are you quite risk averse? Are you happy to throw yourself in?
I love taking a risk, probably at my detriment sometimes. Let's not talk about cryptocurrency, but I love taking a risk. But I think going forward, it has to be more of a calculated risk. Back then in 2015, it was very much, let's just jump into it straight away. We had no income coming in. We'll figure it out as it goes on. Now it's a very different conversation because we have businesses that cash flow. If we need to join an accelerator, it's a different mindset, but more of a case of just doing the research. But yeah, I love taking a risk.
Good. Yep, I like that. The progression in taking more risks. What I mentioned to Kyle on the other podcast, that that first risk that you take seems really scary, right? It seems like a huge jump. You do it, or it's not that scary. The next one, 10 years later down the line in your entrepreneurship journey, you find out risk is just part of the process, right?
It only becomes easier the more risk you take. So you have to just take the first jump and the second jump and the third
inevitably, some of those risks aren't going to pay off.
Exactly.
Cryptocurrency, to mention, and you learn from those, right?
Well, there's 2 types of risks, I believe. I think there's an instinctive risk. There's one that, like, for example, if I keep thinking about a certain business and I'm still thinking about it 6 months later, I know that I need to go and follow that pursuit. Even if it doesn't work out for whatever reason. Something like cryptocurrency, you're kind of just FOMOing in, aren't you? The fear of missing out. So let's not even go into that. But the first type of risk is that sort of like a psychic risk, where you keep thinking about something over and over and over and over again, and then you just do it and it pays off. So very much like our promotional merchandise businesses. Like Terra Manufacturing, we always knew, without going into too much detail now, we always knew that this is the kind of way that we need to make the business be perceived, right? As a manufacturer, we were talking about that 18 months ago, 24 months ago.
Yeah, that's it.
And we've done it. And, as soon as we set it up, it's going well.
Good. Yeah. Before we jump into the business side of things, I know you got bulk branded Brolly, your AI solutions now that you're implementing in Terra Manufacturing. I'd like to know more about you two and how you two come together in terms of your background, right? I'm a solo business owner, so it's just me on this journey. Yes, I lean on people for mentorship and advice and friendship, right? But it's always nice to see 2 people stick together side by side for so long. So how did you? Where did you meet first? And then when did you decide, actually, we could be business partners?
So we met in high school, which is a typical story. But yeah, met in high school. And then I walked into sixth form common room. Chris was sat there. I was like, oh, I know you. And then we just instantly hit it off from there. And then we discussed when we were 16, 17, setting up we wanted to do a tracking dog collar. So you could put collars onto dogs and then it would track wherever they went. But we couldn't find anywhere that could produce a small enough chip for us. So this is when we were 18. And then this was before I left to go traveling. And then, yeah, we obviously came back from traveling and I came back from traveling. Then we reconvened together, did the Facebook ads and then moved into SEO.
Class. So you're thinking of ideas all the way back then, 18 years old, trying to conjure up
all
something.
the time. Yeah, we were in Chris's bedroom designing logos for that business and figuring out supply chains and things like that. But
that's why I talk about like that psychic risk. You almost have that, sixth sense where you know you need to do what you need to do, but you just don't implement it at the time, and you do things at the time that it needs to be done. But we were, before Keenan went traveling, I think we had that conversation, didn't we? It was
literally.
Like, you said,
I remember speaking and being like, as soon as I come back, we'll get into business together, whatever that looks like.
Nice, I love that.
We did, so.
Yeah, high school sweethearts.
Yeah,
yeah, something like that.
I think we both knew, like, from a young age, like, whatever we do, we'll smash it. If we do it together, we'll take it even further than it needs to be alone. Yeah. So.
It's no surprise that you're here today with multiple businesses, doing pretty well in terms of revenue. So
thanks, man.
The focus is going to be on these current businesses, but just to go back to what you're doing before, am I right in saying that you had an agency together?
Yes. So we had a marketing agency together called Launch Local.
Yeah.
We scaled that up. We did quite well. We did very well monthly out of that. And then we didn't really have the skills and the knowledge to sell it, I don't think. I think that was probably the downfall in that business. We just didn't hire enough people at the right time to then scale and sell the business eventually. So we just naturally slowed that business down, used the money to invest in property and branded Brolly and bulk branded. So
when was that? How long ago are we talking?
5 years ago?
Yeah.
Just over 5, around that.
Okay, cool. So let's go back to 5 years ago. Yeah, the agency's on its way out, not in a bad way, just that's the natural way it was going, right? You've used some money to invest into what the businesses are today, some property. Where did the idea come from branded merchandise or branded brollies? Where does that come from?
Do you want the actual story? Or?
Yeah, let's go. The actual story.
It was a bit of a joint one, wasn't it? But the actual story, I'll let Chris explain.
Look, we had a client that did branded umbrellas, okay? And I'll be completely honest with that. I'm not going to hide anything. The client turned around to me and said, I can't pay you anymore, pay the retainer. So I said, look, if we set up a lead generation website and we get the webs, again, going back to what, the course we joined, 2015, that was the model. You set up a lead generation website, you rank it on page one of Google, and then you sell the leads. And we're going to follow that exact model to the business owner. It just ghosted us, when we had the leads. So we had leads for branded merchandise, but the business owner who agreed to purchase the leads went quiet on us. So we turned around and said, well, we actually have some experience in sourcing from China, sourcing overseas. So let's just go ahead and see if we can fulfill the order. And I think you went ahead and fulfilled an order from one of the leads that we got via Google Ads. So that's
Did you actually have a business set up then,
so,
like a
well,
trading?
This is it. I remember we sat in the office that we had, and Chris mentioned, "Oh, look, there's lots and lots of leads in the umbrella space. We're obviously generating a few. We're working with this client anyway. Let's set up a business to do that and sell those leads on." So then we said, "What will the business name be? Branded Brolly." And then we thought, actually, that's a really good name for this industry, and it will work perfectly for SEO as well. So that's when we set up that website, generated the leads. No, we didn't have a fledgling business yet. We didn't even have the limited company set up just yet. We wanted to just test that we could run these leads and convert it into a sale. And then, we did that within about 3 weeks of setting the website up, I believe.
Yeah.
And then, sold one and went from there.
So that was the only product you were selling was branded
umbrellas through Branded Brolly. That was it.
And what was nice about that business, and I always said it, I think that there was a bit of a disconnect towards the end of the agency, that it wasn't stubbornness, but it was kind of like, we didn't want to sell SEO anymore because you don't set up a SEO website and you get loads of leads, right? And it frustrated me, having to do outbound. And this comes back to not having the experience in hiring. We had a good agency that was producing solid net profit figures, solid revenue, but we didn't take the jump in hiring. And that was just pure inexperience at the time and just lack of mentorship, I'd say. In a mentor going, you need to hire sales staff who are going to do that outbound for you. We still felt like we had to do everything ourselves. And what was nice about Branded Brolly is that the lead came in and we didn't have to go out and get that lead. And then we sold the lead just based on our sales skills, right? And that's what I liked purely about that model. And that's why I got hooked on it then. I was like, right, I actually like this because we don't have to go out and, it sounds bad, I feel like we're begging for clients.
Yeah.
Right? I couldn't, mentally, I just couldn't do it anymore. I didn't have the headspace for it.
And the meetings, the proposals, and everything that came with it, really, you know.
Yeah, so
It wasn't.
We're making it sound like it was really hard. But
It wasn't. It was just a slow burning business for what we wanted, and I think where, as much as we're good marketers, we're probably better salespeople.
we didn't have full conviction, did we? Really,
No,
if you think about it, we
didn't
did
100% believe in the idea. Didn't 100% believe in the process and what we could deliver for clients and things like that. I don't think.
I think we were always better off building a brand and using SEO to build that brand for you. Yeah. And I think that's why we've been very successful in the space that we're in now. Yeah, we didn't have experience in the space. We were faking it till you make it, as they say. That's exactly what we were doing at the start. But we were in a space where the leads just came to you.
Yeah, that's it.
And then it was
in a lot more volume as well. Like we're in a business now where we're trying to like really go for the volume and then couple that with account management and different strategies and outbound strategies. So you've got the inbound volume and then the outbound higher volume really, but not higher volume in terms of sales figures, but lower volume in terms of order quantities, you know?
Yeah, got you. So that's really interesting. When you speak to founders or, first year business owners, they're often hunting for new business, right? Trying to bring new business. What you're saying is the first however many months was actually inbound leads coming in and you were closing them and then account managing them.
We used our digital marketing, skills
for
to
us,
bring traffic in day one because we had tools. Sorry, Keith.
That's all right.
We had tools that would tell us how many times the keyword is searched per month. And that's how we'll enter every business going forward is there a market for it? Is it being searched online? Because if it's being searched online, get a website to page on a Google and you'll start bringing in leads. Tire manufacturing and what we're going into next is a bit different. We're going back to where we were, where we have to go out and get clients, but it's very different now because we understand the processes and we've built the systems for outbound lead generation where we didn't before.
And naturally, we've got the team in place now.
Yeah.
So we've actually got the team in place that can achieve the outbound results that we want. We can put KPIs in place and
you've
ensure
got a model that works.
Yeah, and we've got a model that works. Yeah. And even without the sales staff, we've still got an inbound model that works. So we can keep expanding on that,
So going back 5 years, you've closed your first inbound lead. You've completed the order.
Yeah.
At what stage did you think, actually we've got a real business here? This could take off.
Probably once we determined that bulk branded was going to be the next play. We understood that Branded Brolly had a ceiling, unless you actually had a full-on factory setup, which is something that we potentially might do in the future. But we didn't have that knowledge then, so we were like, right, we need another product range or another product line rather than just umbrellas. So we went down the route of bulk branded and then realized, right, let's complete the strategy that we have for Branded Brolly across 15 to 20 different items.
Yeah.
So for Branded Brolly, I'm curious, what was the average order? How many brollies is the company really ordering?
Average order value is between £500 and £800.
And how many umbrellas would that get you? 25
to 30.
Yeah. So who was the ideal customer profile for these?
Ideal customer profile is realistically global brands. Our main client base now is global brands that either need the umbrellas for events or merchandise for events or apparel for a certain staff members or whatever it may be. Bulk branded is where the bigger opportunity in merchandise and apparel really is because it's not just one product. So
now you cover, or what do you cover actually in bulk branded? What sort of items are you supplying?
If I'm honest, we've got access to over 100,000 different products, and then we also produce bespoke items as well for the larger brands that we work with. So the bespoke products that we produce overseas. We've got a variety of factories that we hold equity within. And because of that, we've got certain product lines that we can produce very, very quickly in comparison to some of our other competitors.
Wow. I imagine there's probably a top certain percentage of items that are, the favorite with certain customers. Is there the brolly was obviously popular for quite a while. Yeah. What's the most common thing that people are ordering from you guys?
Bottles, apparel. If I'm honest, bottles, apparel, tech products, umbrellas.
Yeah.
People would be surprised.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, the reason why Branded Brolly also works so well is, we get leads for branded umbrellas and then we just upsell them into bulk branded. And then that customer actually becomes a bigger bulk branded account than they ever would Branded Brolly. So it's a really good play to mix them back and forth, actually. But
So they really complemented each other,
Hugely
Bolt
so.
Branded and Branded Brolly.
hugely so.
Okay, all right. So let's go. You started Bolt Branded.
Yeah.
Yeah. The business model is working. That it's taken off. There's revenue coming in. What was the next logical step then in terms of office hiring? Upscaling a team, outsourcing. What was next?
I think the good thing is we've been in offices consistently since we started the first business. So we've naturally just grown into different office spaces. So we've always almost had an office, if that makes sense. So there was no decision to get an office and things like that. But when we started to see there was a lot more volume in terms of production, we realised, okay, we need to bring a production person in-house. That was the first hire.
And how long into the journey was that? So you started Bolt Branded. How far in?
About a year and a half into Branded Brolly.
Well, the thing with Branded Brolly was a bit of a
So-
weird one because we set up at we had it end of 2019, and then 4 or 5 months later, COVID came, and that sort of derailed the project for a little bit. And then we picked Branded Brolly back up. I remember having the conversation with you and saying, let's give it one last chance, one last go, let's crack it. And that was probably June 2021, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So really,
Just after COVID, really.
it's been a journey from 2019 till now, but actually it's been 2021 till now. So,
We've really been all in, complete
yeah.
focus on it. And since then.
The Bolt Branded side of things?
The entire business really, like within the merchandise space, because obviously COVID derailed, it just derailed things a little bit. And then as soon as COVID ended, we just started to see leads really coming in hot.
Yeah.
And we were like, look, let's really
and
work
in
this
that
out.
time, it was actually a good thing because in that time, the website got to page 1 of Google organically. So at the start of the business in 2019, all our leads was paid traffic. So all the leads we were getting, they were costing us about £25 a lead. Yeah. So every 4 clicks was getting us a lead. And then every 4 of those leads were closing, right?
Yeah.
I can't, the specifics, they've left me now, but yeah, it was all paid. And then in 2021, in the background, we were still doing work with the SEO. We're still building up the authority on Branded Brolly. And in middle of 2021, we just started noticing more and more and more leads were coming in organically. And we were on page 1 of Google, probably in like 3rd or 4th position. And that's when we were like, right, okay, this is good now because they're free leads in some respects.
So what's the split of inbound now versus outbound? Because I know you've got a sales team, right? So what's the split?
At the moment, it's actually 60-40. So 40% outbound, 60% is inbound at the moment, but it's creeping up with the outbound / account management. I consider outbound the same as account management just because now we've built up about 500 or 600 customers through Branded Brolly and bulk branded, and we're just consistently repeat orders and selling repeat orders to those customers.
Nice. Okay, so I've got something on that, but I want to go back to a recruitment perspective because obviously I own a business that scales businesses, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
From a technology perspective, early stage startups, and I know how difficult it is to hire the right people, especially in this market. So tell me about the first hire that you made. How big of a decision was that? And then, what experiences have you had throughout hiring, whether they be challenges, good experiences? Just give me an idea of how that's affected you in your journey.
I'd say Jasmine was obviously our biggest and first hire just because she was the first person that we wanted to hand the reins over to on quite important aspects within the business. Getting orders produced and delivered on time that's the most crucial part of merchandise, if I'm honest. So handing that over to someone is it's a big deal or a big thing for us. But then hiring since then has been fun, challenging, a bit difficult here and there. Sometimes you might have to let someone go for certain reasons, and that's a process in itself, and that's an emotional difficulty and process as well. But you just got to keep on hiring, and you've got to keep trying to find the right people.
Yeah.
So you can't be afraid of it. I think that's the worst thing.
I agree. So that first big hire that you made, Jasmine, how did you find Jasmine for the business?
On Indeed.
Indeed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Indeed, wow.
We did we did a video interview of a remote interview. And I was going to say, we got very fortunate with Jasmine because she's an absolute superstar. Our business really wouldn't be where it is without her organization skills, first and foremost. But we were kind of lucky in that sense that we found, we instinctively, we know what type of people are, going to be an advantageous to the business. But she was a very good hire. But it was just, we didn't even work with a recruiter. I'll be honest, we never have.
No.
We've all done
Avoid
it.
us if you can.
But I think bringing a recruiter on board can be very advantageous as well because you're looking for things that maybe we haven't spotted or even considered, you know. But trusting the gut on the hiring has been a massive one for us. Like, what vibe or what feeling do we get from this person? And then we kind of figure that out even after we've brought them on board. It might take 3 weeks to really just understand that person, and do we gel, and have you got a position in the business moving forward and to grow with us? Yes or no, really.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things for a business of, you know, my size. I'm obviously a bit smaller than you guys, right? But your business as well is the culture fit. You know, are they someone that we get along with? You're going to have to speaking to these people daily, rather than someone who's incredible at their job but just wants to be an individual contributor in the background somewhere, not doing anything. So what's the current business model now in terms of who have you got working for the business, and what are their roles?
So we've got 10 people in total, including me and Chris. One of them is a full-time designer out in Mexico, who is insanely good, I have to say. He is a massive asset to the business. He produces designs for some of these global brands we're working with that are just night and day. They're absolutely incredible, to be fair. So we've got myself and Chris, Jasmine and Carrie, Jordan, Sam and Joe on the sales side. I'm also on the sales side as well. Chris is on the marketing side. We've also got a full-time developer called Dan, who's also outstanding as well. So yeah, that's the team setup at the moment, and then bringing 2 more on board as we speak as well.
Sounds good. To 10 people, did you say? 10 people in...
So I'd have to do the maths.
Yeah, 10
in
people.
4 years? 5 years?
Yeah.
Impressive.
We'd like to be more, for sure, you know. Again, the first 2 or 3 years, we're like, oh, do we hire, do we not? Who do we hire? But I think now we understand sales, isn't it? Like,
if you want to get past that 7-figure mark, you have to just keep hiring. And, you know, look, there are businesses that can do 7 figures without needing to have staff. But, it's important to have those staff just to be able. A big thing for us for a while was, and I'd always say it, we need to work on the business, not in the business. And for a long time, we were working in the business. And it does kill innovation and creativity massively.
It's very hard to separate when you're
100%.
early on, right? I went to South Africa for 3 weeks back in December, and those 3 weeks gave me time to think and think on the business. And I come back with, we started the YouTube, we've started the podcast, all these things, but I didn't have the opportunity to think like that when you're hands-on in the business, on the tools, you know.
Got a fantastic tan as well, didn't you?
Well, I'm still trying to keep it. Yeah, that's moisturize that. Moisturize it. Yeah. I'm trying to understand the customer journey then, right? So if someone sees you on Google, they see, oh, the Bolt branded looks good. They submit their details. What journey do they go on then? So
they go on a journey depending on the brand. So we've got Branded Brolly, where Sam will just manage the leads. He deals with the leads within 15 to 20 minutes. So lead comes in, does an outreach call, then takes them through a certain set of questions. We've got a really, really good script to get the most information as we possibly can. We understand deadlines, lead times, etc. Then we put it into a really nice PDF quote, send it along in a really nice template, and then we just got a follow-up process to ensure they just come over the line, essentially.
So that sounds quite quick.
That's for Branded Brolly.
That's for Branded Brolly, yeah.
Bulk branded's a bit different.
Okay.
Bulk branded is more of an e-commerce play. So you might get an employee come onto our bulk branded site. The managers ask them to buy 500 notebooks. They can get the price there and then. Whereas Branded Brolly, you have to get a quote. So bulk branded is a bit different. They might add that to the cart, upload their logo, choose print position, and then check out. All we have to do in the back end is for one of the production staff to then process that order with one of our many suppliers. Or they can request a quote. Yeah. So bulk branded is a lot more scalable in that sense. A lot more opportunity there. It's just a case of, you're going into more of an e-commerce style business, super competitive, conversion rates, might be a bit lower. So for Branded Brolly, our conversion rate's about 8 to 10%, isn't it?
Yeah. Does that mean 8 to 10% of people who visit the website convert to a sale?
No, convert to a lead.
And then our sale rate is around 42 to 45%.
Which is really good numbers. Yeah. Bulk branded, that conversion rate might drop to 1% because it's an e-commerce style business. You can have it as we had to make a decision. Bulk branded could be like Branded Brolly in that it's a quoting-based business. But if you're ranking for hundreds of keywords that are generating thousands of amounts of traffic per day, the sheer number of quotes that you'd have to do would be impossible. It would. You'd have to have a team of 20 people just quoting. I'm saying 20, it might not be 20, but that's why we had to make a decision. Bulk branded needs to be more of an e-commerce play with also the opportunity for people to request a quote.
Yeah. So is the opportunity to request request a quote, and have it supplied to them there and then? Is that a differentiator between you and the competition?
No, I would say that. So, with regards to competition, there's a few other brands who are trying to achieve what we are, already achieving what we are, and they're just internet-based merchandise businesses. We're currently in a hybrid where we're not a strictly internet-based merchandise business. However, we want to try and get there whilst also coupling it with account management strategies.
Yeah.
So the reason why we've got the sales team and the sales guys is they focus on account management and building the existing customer base into just more and more spend. But then bulk branded will just be an organic play, and we'll try and get as many e-commerce orders through the door as we can, but then also upscale that account into more revenue.
Yeah.
Got you.
And
Does
the
that make
reason,
sense?
Yeah.
the rationale behind bulk branded being a hybrid is that when we come to exit, an e-commerce site that has proven revenue and an e-commerce site that's generating sales autonomously, let's say, is what we believe is a better sell, better asset than a business that's purely outreach, account management based.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking about from the customer's perspective right now, and I'm sure you've put some thought into this, right? So that their boss asked them to order 500 tops, for example. I imagine they would type that into Google, right? And what the first 4 or 5 are branded merchandise suppliers. Would you agree?
Correct.
How do you think the customer makes a decision?
Customer makes a decision from a variety of trust signals. So when we build websites, we look at the trust signals, and that will be reviews in the right place. That'll be the product image that's used. It'll be the different print options are available. Is there tool tips? Is there information? There's quite a lot of trust signals that we'll employ, even down to the color use on the website. What button is the add, what color is the add to cart button? Just little things like that are actually really important from a psychology point of view.
I was going to say, so you reckon it's subconsciously within a few seconds of going on a website, oh no, I don't like that color, or I don't like those pictures, probably not for me, I'll go on to a different one.
Very subconscious, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So that might bring us on to the next part of the question about the AI solutions that you guys are implementing. I know you've started your own YouTube channel, which we can plug at the end of this, I'm sure. What solutions have you put into place, and how are they helping you scale the business?
I'll let Chris explain the first one.
Well, the first, they call them agents, right? AI agents, because essentially, so they're doing tasks, in the business 24/7. The first one we have running at the moment, or is going to be completed this week, is a bookkeeping agent. So we had an employee doing the accounting, right?
Yeah.
And we just saw that, right, we want to move this employee into more of a creative role, suits their personality so much more, get them on social media. We want to be posting on social media every day anyway. But do we then hire a bookkeeper? And it was like, well, actually, let's see whether we can actually automate this process. And we found that we can. So we can automate the process that usually a bookkeeper would do, not 100%, but to a level that we won't need to hire a bookkeeper. And then we internally, as we are anyway, just making sure that everything is being done properly on our accounting system. So that's the first solution that we're implementing, which means that we don't need to hire for that role. And then the second solution that will be completed in probably 6 weeks is a quoting solution. So our sales agent can go to Telegram and open up the sales AI agent without making it sound too complicated, and basically just communicate with the agent on Telegram saying, got a customer here, name, needs 50 umbrellas, 2-color logo and 4 panels. Can you create a quote for me? The agent will then go and create a quote on Canva. And then the agent will say, here's the quote. Do you want me to send it? And then the salesperson go, yeah, send it. And then the sales agent will send it to the customer.
It's all autonomous in the background, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why that's very important for us is we spend quite a lot on software. So our CRM system at the moment is a Windows-based solution that you can't actually integrate or connect with any external service, any external solutions, which is a bit of a nightmare for us because it's quite expensive to run this system. And the only way that we can get away from it is by implementing something like this and automating that quote process.
Yeah, so I've been looking into the AI agents recently. I've started slowly building my own at home, but this is the space that I'm in, right, tech, and there's a couple of companies that we work with who are, their business model is supplying AI agents to businesses. So how have you gone about implementing your own? Are you building these yourself?
We're working with an external agency who are building it for us, but in the background, we're also educating ourselves on how to build AI agents. Again, join the community, join an accelerator. We got hundreds of other people that are either developers or entrepreneurs who are running AI agencies, so AI automation agencies, looking to do exactly what you just mentioned then with your clients. We're going about it in a different way where we're implementing it into our own businesses, but we also will like to move and sort of move into that direction of helping other businesses implement AI automations in their own businesses as well.
So that's a new business model for you two, an AI agency that's going to help other businesses implement AI agents.
Yeah.
And automate processes within the business to reduce hiring staff, and to reduce hiring needs ideally within certain aspects of the business.
I guess the key is it's increasing profits without needing to hire more staff.
That's it.
And look, we've just been talking about for the last however long how important staff are. They really are, super important. However, if a business wants to scale as quick as they want to, you also do need to look at implementing some form of automation, whether that's an AI system or an AI agent. It's a good idea, especially for entrepreneurs, to look at, right, if I implement this agent, will it allow me to increase more profits?
Yeah, I've been speaking a lot about this recently, and I've come to the conclusion through speaking to lots of people that the AI agents are here to help, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned about moving someone into a more creative
Exactly.
position, which is an A task for them, probably what they're good at, right?
Yeah.
The agents are here to take B and C tasks, which
Exactly.
are the autonomous, monotonous tasks, leaves us three and your person that you move into a different area of the business to be more creative.
Yeah.
So if you used correctly, they're not here to take roles.
Well,
They're here
this
to
is
supplement what you've got.
we discuss it with our staff regularly, that we're not trying to replace you. We're trying to make the role that you have easier. That's it.
And more fun.
And more fun.
You can do the fun stuff.
Exactly.
You don't have to do
and
the
you can manage the
moving
agent
data.
to make sure that it's working to the correct standard that we need, and that you need it to work to as well.
Reconciling invoices and making sure
Creating
POs
invoice.
are created. That doesn't need to be done necessarily by a human.
No.
If it can be done by an agent, then and even with the quoting as well.
Yeah, the objection we were hit with not long ago, and we counteracted it, was, well, you're going to put people out of work. And we said, well, no, even if you outsource this to a VA, wherever they might be, that's still boring work for them.
Yeah.
It's still monotonous. It's still not enjoyable. So the agent there just takes the bulk
I
of
think
That's it.
that whole
boring work.
debate of
Big time.
the whole debate of will jobs be lost? Yes, but at the same time, will jobs be gained? Yes. Because look, there will be people that will need to maintain these agents to make sure they're doing the right job. You'll need people to approve certain tasks, because not all agents will run autonomously. We built agents that require approval. So where there's losses, there'll always be gains, just like when the internet first came about as well. So it's an interesting one. It's employees' right to see it as a threat. They are, because it is a threat, let's face it. But it's a sensitive topic as well.
Yeah, and it's new, but it's moving at speed, right?
It's
And
moving very fast.
next thing you know, 6 months ago, there's not really an AI agent conversation. Next thing you know, your business has got an AI agent working next to you. You're like, oh, hang on a minute.
Well, yeah,
where's this going?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the accelerator that we're in for the AA agency and how to create one, the teacher there actually makes a really good point in that cryptocurrency's been around for how long now? 15 years. And everyone talks about, adoption of cryptocurrency. Everyone's going to adopt it. Well, where's the adoption been? We're not using cryptocurrency on a day-to-day basis. We're still going out and using Visa or MasterCard. So that gap of going from early stage to mass adoption hasn't happened in crypto yet. But when is it going to happen? Whereas AI agents, if you think about it, we were talking about 2 years ago, ChatGPT came about.
That's it, yeah.
And then 2 years later, we're putting AI agents into businesses to create tasks that humans used to do. So the level of adoption is so quick that, you have to really be, it's like a language. You have to learn, you have to visit the language every day if you really want to become fluent. And it's the same with AI agencies. You have to, AI agents, should I say, you have to make sure you're in the space and understanding, because tools just move so fast.
Yeah, I agree. And, however good or bad it might say, there's no excuses to not keep up with how the world's moving in a minute, right? If it's going in this direction, it's people's responsibility to take that accountability and actually want to upskill in this area.
Yeah, that's it, for sure.
So what about Terra Manufacturing then? I can see it all over the branded workwear today. That's last time I seen you both, I wasn't aware of that business. So what's that all about?
So Terra Manufacturing has come about because we are working with a lot of bigger clients on higher volume orders, and for much bigger merchandise orders. So that might be 26,000 t-shirts, for example, or 14,000 quarter zips, or 4,000 drawstring bags, like really, really high volume order stuff. And we set the business up in the US, so based out in Wyoming, because the gentleman who we brought on board, Joe, he really, really wants to attack USA clients. We're already working with lots and lots of good brands. So now it's just a case of trying to use a manufacturing arm of the business to actually sell these products rather than branded body or bulk branded.
Yeah, so is that actually a manufacturing facility?
Yes, so we partner with manufacturing facilities and produce goods at a much higher rate than other typical competitors.
Yeah. So multiple facilities. Do you have a goal of partnering with one or opening your own? I think you mentioned maybe at some point.
Maybe eventually down the line, but we just partner with multiple facilities globally, and then we obviously hold equity in the factories' production lines within China.
So the whole process from start to finish, you own, not completely, but you own a part in everything, right? From the lead generation, it comes through the website, you have the account managers that manage it, it goes out to the manufacturing facilities that you also have ownership or part ownership in as well. Yeah. So that the whole life cycle of the sale is controlled or has some control by you guys.
Yeah. It's that vertical integration that we saw that was super important. If we're spending X amount there's a mentor that we follow, and we follow this, he says, if you spend an X amount on a supplier, you need to look at becoming the supplier. So that's kind of the sort of ethos that we followed. And it's just been a natural progression. And, going back to what we said earlier in the conversation, we always knew that Terra Manufacturing was what we needed to mold into eventually. And just doing it once we did it, it worked. So we always knew we needed to do it.
Yeah, I like that natural progression from you boys, where it's, one thing you see the next opportunity, you've taken the manufacturing side of things, now you're even moving into the AI space. Yeah. You're not staying still, which some business owners do, right? There's like, this is my niche, this is where I'll stay, but you boys seem to keep moving forward.
We've got a goal, We've always had a goal for a long, long, long time. We want to, when we first created the merchandise business, we want to exit, we want to scale to £10 million in revenue, and then we want to exit the business. But then along the way, we never forget that actually to keep innovating is really, really is vital. It's really important.
I don't want to assume, but I think it's an anomaly for young 30-year-olds to be running promotional merchandise businesses. They're usually run by older people, I'd say, politely as I can make it. It's a bit of a weird one for us to get into the space, but I think that I always see, I see it as an opportunity, because the way I like to think about it, we're bulk branded and branded body. We're a technology business that just sells merchandise. And if we think like that, we'll always keep improving. Time manufacturing is a nice one. It's a nice play because it forces us to go back to the outbound model, something that we kind of ran away from after our experience with the SEO and being a bit frustrated with that whole having to do outbound. But what's nice about time manufacturing is that because we've got staff now, and we've got one staff member, Jordan, who loves the process, we wouldn't probably enjoy the process if we had to do it for time manufacturing again. But he loves the process. So he loves setting up the outbound, the cold emails, looking at the stats. And that's why it's so important to have people in your team that are better than you at certain things.
I was just about to say the same thing. So hiring people that are better at you in different areas to upscale the business in that area.
And, someone might watch this and go, oh, they're doing this, and now they're doing AI. Well, the reason why we're doing AI is because I'm able to take a step back because we got very good staff who are really helping us grow, and we work as a team. And I'm going, right, well, my capacity's dropped a bit. I can potentially look at pivoting this way to keep growing this business in the group, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Nice. I like the mentality.
Yeah.
Before we talk about what's next for you boys in the business, two questions I'd like to ask about routines. I'm a massive habit person, routine person, you probably know. What's your routines? Do you have any strict routines, whether it be morning or throughout the day, or are you just freestyling?
I'm up at 7 every day, to be fair. My morning routine is just wake up, green tea, head into the office. I have a call at 9 to 9:15 with the sales guys, and then I just get on with my day, and then
up, green tea, out.
Yeah, pretty much. Right. Yeah, into the office, and then have that meeting at 9 o'clock, and then after work, just straight in the gym, or relax, nice. or to be honest, at the moment, just doing AI.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Kristian, what about you?
I would love to say that I'm like that. I'm up at 7 a.m., but I'm not. I'm a big believer in having natural sleep, so I don't set an alarm.
Nice, okay.
And I just wake up when I wake up. But we were saying earlier in the office, I'm very good at going like that and then seeing that it's X time. I won't say. But big into my fitness. Prepping for a show in June, a natural show. So we'll see how it goes. My first ever show. So that's quite nice because it allows me to just switch off. And it's actually allowed me to become quite routine based. Before I was winging food, I didn't know how many calories I was eating, X, Y, Z. Whereas now I'm eating so much more cleaner. I'm prepping my food, and it's been a really nice change for me.
Yeah, and it gives you structure.
100%.
It gives you structure to your day. Your routine feels better. And I don't know about you, but I'm someone who's big on diet as well. You feel better and probably more productive at work as well.
Yeah, big time.
There's one, there's one thing that I really need to fix about myself, and it's good to have self-awareness, and that's probably my not sleeping pattern, but when I actually go to sleep. I really struggle with the whole, I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock. And then before I know it, it's 12 o'clock. And then I'm like, I'm in bed at 10, but then I don't go to sleep till midnight. So it's something that's really, and look, it's one of those things that I do need to fix. So, yeah.
Dare I say I've not perfected, but I've worked on my sleeping routines from reading a couple of books. One was Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep.
Nice.
Do you need any recommendations? I don't know if I should ever admit this on a podcast, but 8 p.m. is the time I go to sleep.
Do you know what? I'd love to be able to do that.
It's so funny that you mentioned
every day.
We were literally speaking in the office earlier on, and I was mentioning to Chris that I was watching a guy on YouTube that gets up at 3:53 a.m. and then he's on his balcony doing push-ups and drinking a big bottle of water. And I said he must have to go to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock latest, otherwise you don't have enough capacity.
It is always words like biohacking and like optimization, right? But I think one of the biggest things that's helped me improve in day-to-day life, especially with business and like productivity, is just a consistent sleep and wake pattern to the point where it's the same on the weekends now.
Yeah.
So what time do you wake up then if you go to bed at 8?
We go to sleep at 8 and we wake up at 4:30.
Nice.
Wow.
Every morning. It's been like that for a year and a half now.
Wow.
Before it was 8:30 and 5, but now it's moved forward to 8 a.m. and 4:30.
Have you always gone to bed early?
Oh, always, for like 5-6 years now. Yeah, apart from younger days.
You
I
just
was
pushed it.
Xboxing until early hours, but that was back in school. So now, it's just like naturally the sleep has just got earlier and earlier. I do believe you've got like a certain circadian rhythm. You can change it, right? But like I'm definitely a natural morning person. Yeah. But then you'd probably go to bed a bit later. If I was to stay up past 9 o'clock, I'd be a write-off.
Yeah.
Like I probably wouldn't have to have a
Well, like
conversation.
it's one of those things I need to fix, because if I don't go bed past a certain point now, or if I'm still awake past a certain point, should I say, I get anxious because I'm awake, and then I can't sleep because I'm feeling anxious that I'm awake. So it's just a constant spiral of just nonsense, really. That
It's one of the
could be
hardest things.
fixed. Yeah, it could be fixed by just trying to fix it, really.
It's one of the hardest things to fix, though, right? That consistent wake and sleep. So, second question before the what's next is, how do you boys continuously learn? You strike me as people who often get better in different areas, even if you're not skilled in that area. For me, it's books. I read 2 books a month and have done for a long time. But what about you boys?
I would say ours is probably YouTube, podcasts and courses.
So
literally.
all visual learning, really.
Very much so.
Yeah.
We're both very similar in that sense, actually. Like we'll be constantly sending each other different podcasts, or, oh, did you see that podcast last night? Or did you watch this yesterday? So yeah, very visual and audio listeners and learners.
What's the best podcast you can recommend apart from this one, of course?
We both love James Sinclair.
Okay, nice. I love him as well, actually, recently.
Great entrepreneur, fantastic ideas.
He's so charismatic.
He's
isn't
very
he?
charismatic. He's
Yeah.
just really open with his models and how he's actually achieved a certain thing within a business. He'll like take you from the start or take you to the end and then say, right, I'll unpack this for you and give you a real understanding on how I did it. So
Yeah, and he buys and scales businesses that all fit within his
Exactly.
business ecosystem. If
That's
you like,
it,
kind of
which
reminds
is
me of what you guys are doing
what Chris
as well.
just mentioned earlier with vertical integration, we understand that's the route that we need to go to.
Well,
really
one
take
thing
this
that-
massive.
Struck a chord with me, what he said, it made me wake up a bit, was he said sales before operations, always. And it's not a case of neglecting operations, but you need to have sales and the cash flow coming in. And then the operations will essentially take care of themselves.
Absolutely.
Because he says when people set up a business, they focus so much on the operation side of things, but they're not thinking actually, how do we get sales? Whereas we've always thought about how do we get sales, and then we'll figure
But the
the
business
rest out.
doesn't survive without sales or revenue.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing that James Sinclair has taught us as well is E plus M equals S, which is entrepreneurship plus management equals success.
Exactly.
Such a big thing that I wish we'd learned that years and years ago, because we would have just kept employing staff and understanding that no, we need to just be the leaders and lead you into battle essentially.
And that's the beauty of modern social media, if you like, podcasts, YouTube, that you can learn all this for free.
Exactly.
Sometimes there's too much
Big time.
information, isn't
Oh
there?
yeah, information overload for sure. Yeah. I've had to narrow it down to my favorite 2 or 3
Exactly.
podcasts or my favorite YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You need to just like you said.
Otherwise, they're all conflicting.
I was
Yeah.
about to say there's actually
Someone
too
says
many
go to bed at
conflicting.
5, someone says go to bed at 8. It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
okay, what's next? Tell me the next thing. What's on the roadmap for 2025? Anything exciting that people can look out for?
Really, I'd say look out for the consistent scaling of Terra, Bulk, and Brolly. Like Bulk branded, we're redeveloping a website at the moment, hence the developer I mentioned to you earlier. That's going to be completed in about mid-March, end of March.
Hopefully.
So hopefully so. And once that's completed, we'll start to see a lot more organic inquiries. The conversion rate should take a massive uptick as well, we hope. And then
Pressure's on me then.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, pressure's on me to get the website to page on a Google
That's
for
it.
numerous keywords, and then
And then just
Nice.
just consistent account management and scaling in that area as well. I think we've done really, really good at that, and within the last 2 years. So, and that is a massive driver of business for us, is managing these accounts and looking after these relationships. So
Good. I know we spoke off camera about social media presence, YouTube channel, potentially other social medias. What about from that front?
Yeah, so building our personal brands more, which is nice because it gives us chance to communicate with the outside world and show our journey. Really, something that we haven't really done.
No.
And yeah, just being more present on social media. I think we're so in the trenches in sales that because we're getting so many leads inbound and we got outbound strategies, you kind of forget about social media sometimes. But it's good to have that trust signal.
Yeah, and people buy into that, right? The authenticity,
Exactly.
the relationship building. They almost feel like they know you or know what you're about before you've actually spoken to them. So
Exactly.
big time.
cool. Well, I think we'll reel that one in. Thanks for coming on, boys. Absolute pleasure speaking to you.
And you too, mate.
I wish you all the
Been a
best.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Keith. Thank you.
Thanks for watching episode 3 of the Calculated Risk podcast. That was a really interesting conversation with Keenan and Kristian of Bulk Branded Brolly, and Terra Manufacturing. It was really interesting to hear about their journey up until now, the risks that they've taken along the way and how they've paid off, the implementation of AI agents into the business, and the benefits of building multiple businesses that fit inside an umbrella to complement each other. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.